evening and welcome to Good News on Entertainment. I'm Carly Boyette and I'm so happy you're joining me. A little later in the show, I want to tell you about a new TV series streaming on the Angel app called Testament. But first tonight, I want to tell you about some new music. The artist is definitely not new to music, but he has just released a brand new album. In fact, this will be Dan Dean's first solo album in 35 years. Now, the name Dan Dean alone may not sound as familiar to you, but I bet the group Phillips, Craig, and Dean does. That's right, he is the lead vocalist behind the gold-selling, multi-Dove award-winning iconic group. That was Revelation's song. Many recording artists have covered that, but it was Phillips, Craig, and Dean's version that stayed #1 on the Billboard charts for 17 straight weeks back in 2009. Now the group has had several other successful stories and albums, but as I mentioned, Dan Dean, with the blessing of the others, has now just released his second solo album called More. The album is out now and features a few fun collaborations as well, like country singer Emily Ann Roberts, the Isaacs, and even his bandmates Randy Phillips and Sean Craig.
He's got more healing than you got broken pieces. He's got more freedom than you got chains. He's got more grace than your sins combined together. He's got more peace than you got pain.
Well, Dan, this is such an honor to get some time with you. And one of the, just the legends, I feel like, in Christian music and what you've done over the years. And I'm just so happy to hear that you guys, Phillips, Craig, and Dean, are still touring. You guys aren't going anywhere. But you just had a little bit more time on your hands, you say, to put out some additional music, which I'm all for.
That's right. I stepped down after being our lead pastor at our church, being part of the church. Oh man, it's June the 1st of this year was my 49th year of being at the church. Is that right? No, I'm sorry, 40th year. 40th year of being at the church. And I had been the lead pastor for the past 17, and I stepped down into semi-retirement and had this time, and I decided I had some songs that I'd written and some that I had ideas for. And so I just jumped in with the guys' blessing, saying, hey, my priority is always going to be Phillips, Craig, and Dean, but who knows, maybe I can hit some solo dates here and there. And so we jumped in with both feet and recorded this project, and really excited about it.
Yeah, as you should be. The music is fantastic. You've got some great collabs on there as well, which I feel like nowadays, like that's the thing. Like you got to have a couple other people join you. I mean, it's just fun to see people in the Christian music space and even kind of stretching outside of that too sometimes. But it's fun to see you guys work together and build maybe some new other artists up. That Emily, Ann Roberts, who kind of caught my attention, I told you kind of here recently. She's got a song on here with you as well.
She sings on the title song with me. And, it's not going to be me giving her any kind of breaks. She's going to be a huge star in country music and already is. She's and such a wonderful Christian girl, and got to sing with her in the studio, and just a joy. And of course, one of the songs features the Isaacs, somebody that I always wanted to have their harmony backing me up if I ever did anything, and they're awesome. So yeah, it was fun. There's quite a few collaborations on this project, including my son, my middle son, Devin, who wrote a song and sings with me on one of these tracks. So that was
fun. I don't mean to age you, but I mean, you have been around, a little while, making music now for so many years. tell me, give me what you're seeing and kind of the pulse of where Christian music is right now. It's really exciting. I think social media has changed the game. I think there's different way to get the music out now too, but which I'm all for. It's more ways to get the gospel out, through song.
Yeah, the industry has changed dramatically. And, Phillips, Craig, and Dean, uh, I can truly say without a doubt that God was involved, had his hand in us having success in this business, because we had individually recorded solo projects that sold some albums, but we came together. And when we went into the studio for our first project, this is no joke, we had sang together a total of 3 times in concert. And so when we went into the studio, it was who's going to sing what part. It was really crazy. And I think the reason that Star Song, the record company that worked with us, signed us, was we had some really great songs, and they thought to themselves, we're going to at least get some publishing on some good songs. And they signed us to the first project. And this is no joke. It was the budget for that project was $30,000. That's everything. That's the photography. I think promotion was included in that as well. And they sent 6,000 units to the entire country. And that was back when they had probably that many bookstores, maybe. So maybe one copy to every bookstore. But God smiled on us for some reason. And John Rivers and KLTY in Dallas started playing the first single, which was Turn Up the Radio, right out of the box. And it went number 1. Our first song went number 1. And that album had, I think it was 4 number 1 songs, 1 in Inspo, 3 in AC, and the rest is kind of history. It's just a crazy way that it happened.
And don't you love that? Because I think that is how God works. That's how I want him to work in my life, when you can look back and really go, there's really no other reason other than
No,
God.
no, no explanation for that. Most groups go out and sing for 5, 6, 10 years, kick up enough dirt to get noticed, or dust to get noticed, and then get signed. And it was just kind of the opposite thing for us. And what's really amazing is we have just entered into our 33rd year of singing, and people still come out. That's the amazing thing. And hopefully, some people will be blessed by these new songs. Going back to your original question, the difference is just amazing nowadays. Somebody can come out of the gates and simply use streaming and get on the internet, and without the assist of radio, can build themselves a great following. There's been several artists that have done that in the Christian field, and it's pretty amazing. So pretty
Well,
amazing.
and it's interesting too, and you're going to have this interesting perspective from being a pastor as well, of what music, it can spell the gospel out so quickly. And I just love that about you. I mean, there's a place for both, obviously, but music, I just love that you said, you can reach an audience very quickly and draw them in.
Yeah, and I just recently have been amazed. Right before this project came out, the record company on my Instagram posted a little 30-second clip of one of the songs, and within just a matter of days, it had 30,000 views. And I was just like, I don't even know that many people, but it's the power of the internet.
Well, this is the sign of the times, though. Get the music out, the message out. What is the theme, do you think, for this album and the songs that you put together for this project in particular?
Well, I think this album is really a message of hope and encouragement for fellow believers. Not all the songs, but I can think of the title song, More, is about, being in a place where you need some kind of a boost. There's a song on there that Taranda Green recorded that I wrote a few years back that I put on this project called This Is Where Amazing Happens. And it's just a song to say, hey, you may be thinking you're toward the end and things are over, but in the middle of all of that hopelessness, this is where amazing happens. God comes in and does his thing. So pretty much just a message of hope for people in their lives.
I love that. So you're going on tour still with the other guys. Are you going to be playing some of your music? Are they going to let you play some of those songs? How's that going to work?
They do. They've been very kind. I have to, I really try to be careful and clear everything, but there's a song off the new project that we do it's called Traveling Light. It's the first song on the project, and it's a real upbeat, fun kind of a country song, and we've been singing that in concert. And through the years, Sean had a book, and we promoted that book. And I hear Randy's writing a children's book right now. I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't doubt it. So we have little things going on the side. Randy's got a podcast, and we try to help each other as much as possible. Not have any jealousy in the camp as far as our own
I
individual.
was going to say, what is the secret for you guys to keep this together for so many years?
You want to know the real truth?
What? Yes.
Here's the truth to staying together for 33 plus years now.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Live in different cities.
Do you really think it's just sometimes space? Like, okay, like we're on the road, we're together a lot. We just need to go have our own family and space time.
I really think it's a big part of it. We back in the day in the 90s, mid 90s, we had the big 40-day tours, and we did that for twice a year for probably, I don't know, 6-7 years. And toward the end of the 40-day tour, you're kind of getting on each other's nerves, if we're all honest, and you need that space. And so that's helped us a lot, seriously. We do get along well. We have learned to lean into each other's gifts, and we recognize I'm the kind of people person of the group. So they'll push me out front if there's something that needs to be handled. And John is the very disciplined, more theological bent. Randy is the driver and the visionary of the group. He dreams up neat things for us to do. So we've leaned into each other's gifts.
I love that. It's like how a church operates, right? Like
Sure.
You need to have all the different kind of puzzle pieces.
Yeah, you got to get people in the right seats on the bus, right? And there were some years of adjusting to that where Randy would get out ahead of me and Sean sometimes. He produced a video one time and told us about it after the fact. You did what? We have a video out? There's adjustments that have to be made. Or Randy, you got to talk to us. We love your idea, but please talk to us before you do it. So it's been fun.
Well, congratulations on this new project, and we're excited. And thank you for your service for all these years and sharing your heart and your talents and traveling and encouraging others through music. I mean, it really is a gift that you guys have, and it's been a real honor to get a couple moments with you here.
Thank you. One last thing I would mention
Go
to
ahead,
you,
yeah.
that all proceeds from this project are not going into my pocket. They're going into a nonprofit that I formed a couple of years ago now. It's called Shepherd's Rest. And what that does is it serves as a way to encourage, strengthen pastors. 2 to 3 times a year, I'll get 3 ministry couples, and I'll take them somewhere for 3 days, pay all their expenses, all their food, all their travel. And there's no agenda. It's not, hey, we're going to teach you what we know. It's just going to be about, let us, my wife and I, pray for you. Let us just treat you like kings and queens, because there's no lonelier people in the world, seriously, than pastors and their wives. They don't feel like they can trust. COVID really created some crazy moments for pastors. You couldn't please anybody. Some wanted space and some didn't want space and thought it was crazy. And it was a tough time. So we're doing our best to encourage pastors.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. And I look forward to hopefully talking to you again soon.
That would be great. It's so nice to see you.
Again, Dan's new album, More, is out now. And Phillips, Craig, and Dean have several more tour stops throughout the second half of the year as well. You can go to phillipscraiganddean.com to find out more. All right, from music to a new series from Angel Studios I was telling you about. And this one is unlike anything ever done before. Testament launched on June 8th and tackles an interesting thought. What if the book of Acts happened in a modern divided world? It's a bold concept and basically follows the disciples as they carry the hope of the risen Messiah into a society filled with fear, conflict, and control. Before I chat with the director, let's take a closer look at Testament.
Did you steal his body from the tomb?
Why do you keep asking about the body?
Did you take it?
They claim he is risen.
Jesus is alive.
He's dead. I saw him.
Wasn't he killed?
Crucified.
Let me explain. That sound.
We were all there at his trial. We all shouted, "Crucify him to the Imperium!" Stephen, you're too smart for this.
I just know it's true. It's something old, and yet something new.
Blasphemy, insurgency, inciting revolution.
We must do something.
Saul of Tarsus.
You believe them?
This has nothing to do with our faith.
It has everything to do with it!
I'm Ananias. This is my wife, Sapphira.
I'm never gonna deny him again.
We're on two different sides of a war that's brewing. And pretty soon, I'm gonna have to start aiming at you.
This minister. This is what happens next.
Well, Paul, you're joining me from the UK. This is such a treat to get to talk with you. Congratulations on this series. I can't wait to hear more about how this came to be from your perspective.
Yeah, thanks, Carly. Yeah, really nice to be here. It feels quite fun having released it finally to at least the majority of it to the world so far. It's a good feeling.
What has the response been? Because I have to be honest, as a believer, and I've been in this faith-based entertainment world now for the last 2 years, and I think people are more open to this kind of storytelling. This is so different to take the book of Acts and make it in a modern world. I mean, there's just not a whole lot, if anything, like this.
No, I don't think from what I can see, at least previously, no, I don't think there is. I think what's been wonderful and what we've known as, when writing it and making it, but what I think maybe people have only just started figuring out when watching it is that we're staying faithful to the story of the Book of Acts. So I maybe there was a bit of like people kind of figuring out how can you do that? How can you tell it in this different aesthetic and yet still keep to the same scriptural truths that the Book of Acts gives us. So that's been quite wonderful for people to realize, you're staying faithful to the story. And it's like, yeah, of course, that was never up for debate for us, at least as a creative team.
What's cool as you say that we are to live, right? Like that way and how our lives, we're to use the same principles that he was teaching and the disciples were learning. We're to still use that today.
Yeah. And that's part of the point of setting it, setting it in this this modern age that we've put it in is to invite us to try and think what it would be like for us to live in the early church, because that's what we're meant to be doing now. We are not, the early church isn't this distant thing that was 2,000 years ago. You and I right now, we're Acts chapter 29. We're the unwritten chapter. So there shouldn't be this distance at least in our minds as followers of Jesus. We should be trying to go right. Even for me, like when Peter has that moment with a lame man on the steps, doing it in modern day, like I wrote that episode, I directed that, put that together in the edit. And it was only like, I think a couple of weeks ago, walking through the streets of London and going, oh my goodness, would I be willing to do the same? Would I be willing to stop in the way that Peter stops in a world that looks very much like I've presented on screen, and have the faith to kneel down by someone and say, in the name of Jesus, walk? Like, I should be able to. It's the same God. So it's those kind of challenges that I really hope that this show invites audiences to wrestle with.
How has this, I can imagine that this really did probably make you, you got to go in deep, and your faith, I'm sure, probably was really stretched, and what you had to learn and really apply, I'd imagine, was probably huge for you.
Yeah, but what was wonderful, so I had the privilege of writing with Faith and Kenneth. So Faith is my wife and Kenneth is her brother, my brother-in-law. So it was a lovely team of us that got to write this. But what we enjoyed so much is interrogating the storyline that the Book of Acts presents, because we've got to approach it from a storytelling point of view, like a motivations point of view from every different character's POV. So what was great is going, this story holds together. Like you can try as much as you want, but you have to really make some stuff up for this story to not work, because it's true. Like that's what's awesome about it. And so we really got to tear it apart and being like, man, this stuff is solid. It's great. As of course it is. It's the word of God.
I really want to brag on Angel Studios here for a minute. And before we hit record here and started going, I don't think I realized it as much, but Angel is one of those that's really helped the message and these faith-based, series and shows and movies. Really, we can be in our own little bubble in the United States. And again, we've seen this surge of popularity and the demand for this type of content. But to hear that shows like this, is going to be seen kind of worldwide, and how huge that is. It's a remarkable time that we find ourselves in, and you're kind of on the front lines.
They're the first people to go down usually, aren't they?
You've been studying Acts too much.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think over the past, before Angel started, when they started a relationship with The Chosen, before that, there was, at least here in the UK and other places, at least in Europe, the faith-based content was kind of geo-locked over in the States, whether people were aware of that or not. But I remember, because I got my ear close to the ground. I'm a filmmaker. I love these kind of stories. I'm a passionate follower of Jesus. So, when I hear something is out, I'm like, oh, I really want to check it out, and not being able to because it is literally locked to a country. And I'm like, well, for me, this doesn't make sense. And I get it. There are distribution agreements, there are licenses and all of that, of course. But surely there's a missional aspect to what we're doing as well. Like that's part and parcel of what we're doing. So yeah, when Angel kind of made this whole, they started with that pay it forward model and just released it for free globally. Yeah, that I think that shook everything and made a big wave that hadn't been seen before. So kudos to them, and they're at least now they're, they've moved to the guild model. So it's a subscription based model, but it's still globally available, which again wasn't the case for other platforms before. So hopefully that changes things for the better as a wider net for these mainstream these faith-based studios.
So what's your goal when people watch this? Again, it's going to be very different than I think what people are used to, which I love. Let's think outside of the box here. What is your hope that people, by the time that they, maybe digest kind of everything?
Yeah, there's two really, and it's for two different audiences. I get the privilege to preach sometimes at my church, and I remember doing a sermon once, and I told them the story of Abednego, Shadrach, and Meshach. Now, I've told those names in different orders than's written out, and I did that on the platform, and you could literally see everyone just like lean forward and going, "What?" I hadn't changed the story; I changed the order of the names, and people like re-engaged with the story because there's this habit that we have as humans when we hear something that we think we know and think we recognize, we sit back and we disengage. So by hopefully presenting the Book of Acts in this, alternate way, people have to re-engage with a story in a way that they will interrogate the Book of Acts, that they'll go back into the Bible, that they'll see what it means to be a follower of Jesus. Whether they come away agreeing or disagreeing with things that we do, honestly, that's not up to me. That's kind of up to God. And what a win that is for me as a filmmaker. And the second, I guess, are people who are maybe new to the story of Jesus. They don't know it, and maybe tunics and sandals have turned them off to those kind of storytellings. I love tunics and sandals. Not everyone does, unfortunately. But by presenting the actual thrill, danger, excitement, adventure that is in the Bible stories, throughout, really, I'm hoping it will invite a new audience to engage with these stories and again further investigate. Go find the spoilers. They're in the Book of Acts. I'm not going to give them to you, but go read them there. It's a better version anyway. Yeah.
I love that. What's next for you? Because you're not going to stop here.
No, well, that's not the goal, at least. Who knows? Leave it to God. But the hope, we've written this to be a multi-season show. Okay. So we're not planned for one season. We're going to leave you on some cliffhangers. Be warned, because we want to tell the full scope of the Book of Acts and the New Testament. So we want to do future seasons. And then I guess for me as well, I'm due to start a project about C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien. So about a film about their friendship, their faith, and the fantasy worlds that they create, which should be a wonderful film. So we're hoping to start that end of this year.
Oh, I can't wait to talk with you again about that one as well. Again, just thank you for what you've done and what you're doing in this space. And we're here for it. So I can't wait to help promote whatever's next.
Well, thank you very much. All the support and prayers are much welcome.
This is what happens next.
Again, Testament launched on the Angel app June 8th. Go to angel.com for more info. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. If you have any questions about anything you saw tonight or anything about CTN, just go to ctnonline.com. Again, I'm Carly Boyette, and I look forward to seeing you next week right here on your Christian Television Network.